Hello and welcome to Dave's Delightful Dishes. As always, I'm Dave, and what a delight it is to have you here in my kitchen today. And today, I have a request from a viewer. Diane in Pittsburgh sent me a message saying that she wanted to do a beef tenderloin roast and crab cakes for a Christmas dinner. And she needed to know how to make a beef tenderloin roast because she's never done it before. Well, tenderloin is something that I like quite a bit, and especially like this. And sometimes you're able to pull out, your emergency crab cakes just in case. But we're going to focus mainly on the tenderloin for the meal because the crab cakes are out of season. We're in the holidays. You can get them, but I can't get here the kind of crab meat that I want to be able to do it. Luckily, I have some spares that I keep in the freezer. So we're going to get right into this. The ingredient list is going to be in the description of this video. So the first thing we're going to do is we got our 4-pound tenderloin, and I'm going to take a tablespoon of olive oil. And remember, you're about to be touching a lot of things, so wash your hands. I'm going to put my oil and drizzle it over the meat, which I have patted dry before I put it on this greased baking sheet. And then I have 4 tablespoons of butter, which I've softened, which I'm going to kind of spread around. And I might not use all 4 here. It all depends on the size of your roast. I just want to get some spread over this roast. And this is really gross, but that is just kind of how it goes. It's as long as you don't mind using your hands, it's okay. I will show you a trick in a second here once I get this part spread. If you don't want to use your hands, and basically what you do is you take yourself a plastic bag or a pair of rubber gloves, if you got a set of cooking grade rubber gloves, and you put those on, and it makes the spreading easier. I've tried using like the basting brushes and all kinds of things like that, and they just don't spread out as well. But what happens is tenderloin's a really lean cut, so you need to have some extra something. 1, to hold all the extra spices you're going to put on, but 2, to be able to, just to add a little extra fat to it. All right. I think I've massaged this enough here. So I need to wash my hands, and I'll be right back to you. So what I'm going to do is now it's time to put our dry ingredients on, and we're going to spread them around. I have salt and pepper, chopped fresh thyme, chopped rosemary, and minced garlic. So I'm just going to get, and this is the rosemary, and I'm just going to get that and kind of shake it out over, and same thing with the thyme, and some garlic. Feel free to use implements if you don't like using your hands, but I find it just works best for me to go like this. And the salt and pepper is to taste. Everything else is that's listed in the ingredients as far as how much of it. It happens to be a tablespoon chopped of each of the fresh herbs. And once we've got both sides seasoned here, which doesn't really take all that long, does it? Everyone thinks this is such a big, scary procedure, making a roast, and it really is kind of the opposite of that. And I've got about 4 cloves of minced garlic here. Now what I want to do is just kind of get a little bit on the sides here too, since I've got a little bit left. Now that I've made a tremendous mess of my hands, perfect. I got smart this time and put a little bit of paper towel. Now I have to put a probe in the middle of this because we're going to be roasting this at 275 degrees, so it's going to go slow and kind of low. And we're going to be looking for the appropriate temperature in the middle here, which is between 120 and 130 degrees, depending on how you like it. I'll go into a breakdown when we pull it out as far as what temperature for what. But let me get this in. And if you noticed, this roast was already trussed, which I asked my butcher to do. And there's no problem. There's no problem that you can certainly, tie your roast up yourself. But when I ordered this piece of tenderloin, I asked him to trim it and then tie it. So that way it was all ready to go in the oven, other than wiping it down when I got it to myself. So that that is something you can do too if you've got a butcher department. If you're just getting it from a store and you have to do it yourself. Not very difficult though. We're just making knots. So this is now going to go into a 275 degree oven. I expect it to take about an hour to get to medium rare, but we'll see what it does. I'll get back to you once we've got it ready to come out, and I'm going to put up a picture of all the ingredients now. So while our roast is cooking, got a couple other things we got to do. First off, I wrapped 2 russet potatoes in tin foil and put them in my second oven, which is 400 degrees. Now, if you needed to, people do microwave potatoes, however you want to get your baked potato, or any other way you want to have a potato. But today I'm doing baked potatoes, and they're in the oven. They're going to go for about an hour, so it's about the same time that the roast is in the oven. I also need to make my horseradish sauce. And to do that, and again, the ingredients will be at the end, but I have sour cream, mayonnaise, prepared horseradish, chives, salt, and pepper. So I'm going to take my half cup of sour cream, and to that I'm going to add a quarter cup of mayo. And I find that the rubber spatulas work great for all this preparation. And then I have 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish, and this is fresh, prepared by me, or in this case, prepared by my wife's uncle, but still fresh prepared versus bought at the store. And then salt and pepper is kind of to taste, but I put about a quarter teaspoon in, and then a half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of chopped chives, green onions, whatever you want, whatever you got around. And then this is all got to get mixed together real well. And it should be kind of fluid. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some plastic over this, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator to get it nice and chilled, so that it'll set a little bit, make it a little easier to spread or whatever you want to do with it when we're having it with the meal. And as you can see, that is a delightful sauce right there. Here, as well as I decided that I wanted to have asparagus, vinaigrette asparagus, so that they're chilled. So I blanched the asparagus. Then once they were soft, I cooled them in an ice bath, and then put in a vinaigrette around them and let them soak in the refrigerator, and they'll be ready at dinner time. And now we're just waiting on the roast to be ready. So we'll see you back. Okay, as far as these crab cakes go, I've got a 400 degree oven because I have 2 ovens. But if you needed to do this in a single oven, what I would do is I would cook these almost all the way first. These need 20 minutes at 400 degrees. So I would cook them, like 18 minutes, just undercook them just a little bit. And then have them ready for once your roast comes out, put them in under the broiler for a minute or 2 to get them back up to temperature and brown the top, and you will be good to go. But since I got 2 ovens, this is going in for 20 minutes at 400 degrees on a greased baking sheet. Okay, right now we are halfway through the process, and you can see it is already starting to brown a little bit on the outside, and the liquids are all around it. All right, we've hit 133 degrees, so I went kind of in between the 130 and 135, and I've just taken it out of the oven, and what we need to do is we need to let it rest. So I'm going to get some foil, and I'm going to put some foil over it and let it rest for 5 minutes. And while we're doing that, the crab cake just came out, the potatoes just came out, get all your vegetables ready, start making your plate so that once we get back, we'll be ready to slice. And at that point, it's service time. See you in a moment. Okay, the tenderloin is rested. So now I want to get these strings uncut. Oh, wow. Does this, I mean, the aroma is coming off of this meat. And now I have to, we're going to cut these into individual portions. And if this ends up being too rare for you, you can throw it back in, or I've got cast iron there with a little bit of bacon grease in it, ready to go. We could always give it a quick sear, or you could put it under the broiler and give it a quick hit that way. But let's see what we end up with. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's just about perfect. And I'm looking to make a decent portion here. So this is about the size of if you were going to get a filet mignon, once I got that end piece off. About a ½ inch. And if you've got someone that prefers it to be a little bit more well done, you can give them an end piece. But as you can see, it's just a little pink in the middle, but that's what you want for prime rib. So we're going to take this piece of rib, and we have our plate. I got to get that string off of it. Hold on. There we go. So I'm going to take this nice piece of rib here. I mean, that's rib. This nice piece of tenderloin, and that's going to go on the plate with my crab cake and my loaded baked potato and my asparagus. And as you can see, it's truly delightful. Now, as you may have noticed, this really isn't all that difficult. So this is something you could do at home. Now, the crab cakes, come springtime, when I can get my hands on better fresh crab, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I make these. I've lived in Maryland for 20 years, so I definitely have an idea of how to make a good crab cake. But I want you guys to try this. And also, I want you to let me know if you like this way of doing videos better. Give me a note in the comments. Instead of explaining every ingredient at the beginning before I start, I just jumped right into it, and I'm giving you the list at the end, and I gave you an overhead picture of what everything looks like. If you like that better, let me know. If you preferred me explaining it, let me know that too. And if you have any other comments, or like I said, if you have anything you want me to try, I'm up for it. There's several challenges in. Stay tuned. They are coming, and you will see them shortly. But in the meantime, enjoy your dinner. Have a wonderful day.